What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to ask the question and answer it. Is 2021 or has 2021 been a horrible year for gaming? So this is something that I see quite often. When I do live streams, when I do videos, you'll see people. I want to make this very clear. I'm not calling anybody out. In fact, I want to thank people for asking me or for saying that, in their opinion, this has been a god-awful year. I want to thank them because it allows me to make a video like this. I agree with some of it, and then I don't agree with some of it, and I think that's fine. And I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments. Whether you agree or disagree, you are more than welcome on the channel, as long as there's not attacks or threats or things like that, taking it to the next level. I think there is a lot of truth in it. I think that 2021 has been a year of just delays over and over, and whether it be big games that we thought we were going to get this year that have been pushed, like Gotham Knights, like Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy actually started the party off in January. Horizon, while being the most, I would say, closest to happening, even though it hasn't been announced. God of War, even though I never expected it to be. And then there's plenty of games I'm sure I'm forgetting. Evil Dead, Sifu. These are just some games that come to mind. Games that have been delayed multiple times in the year, like Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Games that we have no idea where they are anymore, like Lego Star Wars. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's happened. Ubisoft has had their delays. EA, Mass Effect was probably supposed to release last year, and we got it this year. So, next year seems to be enormous. You can kind of forecast, you can see ahead, and next year looks like it's just going to be on another level. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, look around your room right now and try and find a piece of wood to knock on. Hopefully, 2022 is going to be, again, literally on another level. When it comes to this year, though, I would say this, okay? Because of delays and because of what this year should have been, okay? And then comparing it to next year and last year, comparing it to last year too, this has been a down year. I wouldn't say it's been horrible for the games that have come out, because I feel like that is discrediting some of the games that we have gotten. Have the highs of this year match the highs of last year so far? I would say no. So again, that's where I would kind of agree with some of that, that hypothesis or the statements, right? I really liked Hitman 3. That was a great game. Little Nightmares 2, I thought was a really awesome game. Resident Evil, I really, really liked. Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, I really, really liked. So there's games here and there, but I gotta be honest, I would agree. I don't think they reached the height of what this time last year, we had, and judging on how you feel about this specific game, Last of Us Part 2, which, love it or hate it, but it was a massive game. Ghost of Tsushima, we had Final Fantasy, 7's remake, we had Animal Crossing, which don't knock it, right, because it sold insane. We had Doom, and again, I'm sure I'm missing plenty of games. We had a lot. Those are some top-tier games that already had come out, and then obviously we had the fall, and, up until right now this year, there's not a lot. Now, some of the bigger games that are still coming out, I still do believe we're going to have a good end of the year. But granted, some of them are repeats. Like Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, we're getting an expansion. And I'm not knocking it because I'm in love with the idea. I can't wait to play it. All of those things that I always say in these videos, right? But it's an expanded version of the game we got last year. Death Stranding, there's a big one, but we got that 2 years ago. Now, there are big games. It's a new Life is Strange game that's coming out this year. That is big. A new Battlefield game, and one that looks really, really good. Back 4 Blood could be a surprise thing. Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe it hits, maybe it didn't, or maybe it won't hit. Halo, right? Dying Light. These are big things that are still to come this year. And again, I'm sure, like Far Cry, I'm missing games for sure, but these are some of the ones that kind of stick out to me. There's still plenty to come. So while I would say that this year, even if we want to make the bold prediction, like going to the end of this year, has it been, or will it be good? I think it'll be pretty good. But will it match last year? No. Will it match next year? No. You could even say, last year because of the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Also, all of the shows were pretty good. Like Summer Game Fest wasn't very good last year, but like Sony's 2 shows were incredible, right? We got the announcements for a lot of these games. Microsoft's show was pretty darn solid as well, mainly the August one. Like there were good things there. The Game Awards was pretty darn awesome as well, I think. Mass Effect being there, stuff like that. So, this year just hasn't had that punch. I would agree with that. I would agree. Hitman 3, in my opinion, doesn't hold up as well when you consider the biggest games of last year. Resident Evil, same thing. Ratchet and Clank, you know, I mean, I really love that game. In fact, Ratchet and Clank is probably my game of the year, and just in terms of how much fun it is. But do I enjoy it more than like Ghost of Tsushima last year, which is probably my second favorite game? Probably not. So those are the things that that kind of are that push and pull, right? Those are the things that are kind of in my mind where it's like I understand where people are coming from. Now, I would say, like, if you say this has been a garbage year for games that have released, I would not agree. I would not agree. From the games that we've gotten and the games that we are going to get, sure, we don't know for sure the games we're going to get are going to be good, but I wouldn't say this has been a garbage year. I would say it's just the ceiling, like the highs aren't as high as, you know, and obviously there's reasons for that and excuses we can certainly say. Again, last year, for, you know, being the worst that you know the world has faced in quite a long time, you know, gaming did pretty well. Gaming did really well. And then next year, if things are okay, which it doesn't look like things are okay right now, and things are kind of getting worse, but if it holds relatively okay and the games that are in 2022 stay in 2022, I mean, it's gonna that's gonna be the thing. Like, when we go into 2022 and we get Horizon, we get God of War, we get Hogwarts, we get Gotham Knights, we get like just non-stop big, and there's plenty more, right? Then you look at this year, 2021, and you're like, okay, well, what were the highlights, right? And do they even come close to matching it? Again, but yet again, you don't know. Gotham Knights could suck. Hogwarts Legacy could disappoint the world. Like, we don't know. So it's going to be interesting, but it's a really good conversation. I'm glad. I really am. I'm glad people bring it up. I don't agree with saying that this has been like a horrible year. Another thing to remember too is, you know, the stuff around the world aside, gaming and movies, they do go through good years and bad years. I mean, like 2011 in gaming, I'll always remember it because in my mind, and I know there's other ones, I think like 2007 or 8, one of those is like considered a really big year for games. 2011 is the one for me that was like Skyrim, Uncharted. There were so many games in the fall of 2011. It was insane. It was insane. So I always will look to that, but there's other years where it's not as big, and it depends. You know, is it the last year of a console cycle? Is it the first year? Is it the year? Like, you know, those kind of things do impact it. So we've always had cycles of good years, you know, maybe it's me being too nice. I know that's hard to believe, right? Because some people think I just have hatred nonstop, but like, maybe I'm being too nice. I never look at it as being a terrible or bad year. I always look at it as being amazing and then just good, like not as good as the best years, but not horrible. That's how I look at the down years, and I think that's how I've always looked at it, and it's probably how I always will. I get it, because if you're only into certain games, if you only play 2, 3, 4 games a year, okay, and I'm not knocking that, because there's lots of people that do that. That's a big part of the gaming community. Then yeah, then there really are great years and there's horrible years, because there's years where there's nothing that they want, and there's years where they get their 3, 4, 5 games a year. Okay, for me, just because I'm in this, right, and I play so many different kinds of games, I try to find, right, the light in the dark. Like, I look at a game like 12 Minutes that's coming out in another week and a half, right, as like nobody cares about that game, but I do, and if that game is like a surprise hit for me, or like I really enjoy it, you know, that's something that's not going to be mentioned at the end of the year, but like I will note it, you know what I mean, I'll recognize it, I'll remember it. So those are things I would say to keep in mind. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed this different kind of video. Let me know. Do you hate this year in gaming? Do you love it? Do you think it's okay? Let me know. As always, if you guys did like this, make sure you guys are subscribed, the bell icon turned on. If you want to give this video a like, I'd really, really appreciate it. All my social media stuff is in the description below. If you guys want to check it out, my Twitter, PodcastNow15, would love to have you guys there. Our second channel, Patreon, and YouTube memberships. If you guys want to support us financially, you get stuff back to you, for doing that. All of it's in the description. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.